I know, maybe raise your hand. Oh, yes, wonderful,
Great morning.
wonderful. So nice. Okay, so let's begin. Well, my name is Mithilesh Chudgar, and uh, so far as I am aware, like we are all connected somewhere via maybe Facebook or LinkedIn, or maybe connected in some WhatsApp group, and that's how we all got here. And the first thing that I would like to do is I would like to thank Lois for being with us today. She just accepted my request to be here and share her experience, share her expertise on sales with us. And I'm thankful to you, Luis. Thanks for being here with us for us. And let me just introduce Luis to you all before we begin. Well, for 20 years, Luis Luis Koffi has coached thousands of people all over the country, that is United States of America, on their health, well-being, and business success. She has been a sales trainer for more than 7 years, and she is an absolutely passionate sales trainer, which you are all going to find out in few moments. And let me tell you something about her. She herself is an athlete. She is an Ironman triathlete, and she has also coached athletes for marathons and triathlons. She teaches in a management institute, and she has been a sought after recruiter, and she has helped to recruit and sell and develop leaders in several companies over the last decade, including companies like Organo and iBroomer. Well, most importantly, Louis has been married to Dedler Coffee, and they are parents to three beautiful kids, and married, happily married for 11 years now. They dream to grow their business globally, and she is absolutely passionate about traveling the world. Well, she has leveraged the skills of growing up in a farm. Well, growing up in a farm with a father who has been a farmer, hardworking farmer with very strong work ethics, and that has actually dissipated in Louise. And she herself is a very hardworking person with very strong work ethics. Well, today she is going to teach us how to create more results in less time and have a best ever 2020. Her secret to success is engaging discipline through disappointments and never giving up on goals. Friends, please help me welcome Luis. Luis, I hand it over to you and looking forward to wonderful learning.
Awesome, awesome, wonderful. Thank you so much, Mithilesh. I want to honor you because it was simply a conversation that you and I had, and with your, great background in performance and mindset, I just want to honor you and thank you for giving me this opportunity. And thank you guys for being here, because without guests, we couldn't have fun. And I really want to have fun today. I want to reflect. I want to speak from my heart. I've experienced a lot of successes like he was sharing, and I've also experienced a lot of failures. A lot of what I've learned really today that I'm sharing with you, I learned since the last recession. And some of you sent me some specific sales questions, so my hope is to make sure we get to those. However, what I'm also going to do is encourage you to take notes. My goal is to be done, speaking in the next 45, give or take, minutes, okay? And then open it up for Q&A. And I will stay on for Q&A as long as you guys have questions. So again, my goal is to inspire, educate, and empower you during these uncertain times. I don't know exactly what it's like in India. I'm here in Southern California, but I have certainly heard a lot. I do a lot of global business. I talk to people all over the world now. I have clients in Europe, Africa, and also in India. And I've heard some of the stories, and wherever you're at today, I just want to honor you and acknowledge you for being here. Two outcomes for today. I want you to be able to take something forward today. I want you to take action today on the inspiration, on the tools that I'm going to share for your sales success. And then, of course, at the end, I am going to share with you how, if you choose, of course, to continue staying in the conversation with me at the end. So when Mithilesh and I put this together, we wanted to make sure you got some really clear, solid nuggets. I call them golden nuggets of education. We're going to talk about, of course, a mindset of a sales champion, tips specifically on virtual selling, because I believe I don't have a crystal ball. I can't predict the future, just like I couldn't back in 2006, 2007, 2008. The recession was really, really hard here in America, and I couldn't predict what was going to happen. However, everything that's happened over the last 13 years since the last recession has prepared me for this moment. When this pandemic happened, I was ready, 100% ready. And I want you to be ready. I want you to future-proof your business and learn how to sell virtually, because I do believe, again, even though I don't have that crystal ball, you'll be able to pivot quickly, as fast as you can, if you really focus on virtual selling from now on. And of course, I'm going to share with you my parts of my sales formula on how you can close more sales in less time. So if you're ready, say I'm ready, and go ahead and take copious notes. So first, I already alluded to this story. You know, I've had massive success, but I've had massive failure. And I was in sales right out of college. So I started selling at the age of 22. I got into real estate. I had never really been trained formally on sales, but I had a mentor who thought I'd be really good at it just because he heard me talking to his customers on the phone. I was working for a real estate agent as his assistant. And turns out he was right. In my first year, just working part-time, because I also worked at a newspaper. My background is journalism. Speaking and writing was basically my college degree. I made six figures just working part-time. And then I decided, oh my gosh, I love sales. You can make unlimited income. I want to continue to do better. So I even hired a coach. And a lot of the things that I learned back then, I'm still using today. And it also helped me pivot in learning how to sell virtually. So short story, I became so successful. I was at the top of my office. My real estate broker asked me to do some training for the office. And just so you know, I also had a fitness passion. Like Mithilesh shared with you, I was an athlete. I did triathlons, marathons. One of my races was a 24-hour race. So I'm one of those endurance athletes. And I was always had a lot of balance in my day, and I would not work much nights or weekends. So real estate agents were always asking me questions, asking me to coach them and mentor them on how I could make so much money and not be a workaholic, not be working all the time. So I also do a lot of coaching on lifestyle and health and nutrition. So part of that journey, though, was the recession of 2007, 2008. It actually started in 2006. I don't know what it was like for you in India or wherever you're tuning in from, but I had three companies. I had a mortgage company, I had an investment company, and I had, of course, a real estate sales team. I had recruited sales agents. I was training them to make unlimited income, and things were great for about 4, 5, 6 years. And then when the recession happened, it was like they turned off the faucet. There was no water running. There was no home selling, and I lost everything. I won't tell you the whole story, but I became homeless. I lived with friends, slept on floors, futons, whatever I could do. I eventually had, my car was repossessed. I went through bankruptcy. I went through foreclosure. I went through it all, and it was very traumatic. I will tell you that. It was very painful. However, it got my attention. It caused me to really stop and think, and helped me realize that, you know, I had put all my eggs in one basket, you know, and maybe you or someone you know is experiencing that right now. Maybe your sales are down, or you know someone who lost their job. In America, we've got over 33 million people unemployed. So it's much worse, much, much worse than the Great Recession. So I was forced to learn how to work from home. I had never done that before. I had always been in meetings, shaking hands, face-to-face. I call it face-to-face, belly-to-belly marketing and sales. And I didn't know what to do. I was actually kind of freaking out because I had no income, I had no money, and I had to learn all of these new skills. And I succeeded with the help of coaches and mentors. And again, everything I'm going to teach you today is what I've learned in the last 13 years. And I love sales. I want to speak to that for a second. To me, sales is not a swear word. I don't know how some of you feel about it. That's one of the things that I see quite often with salespeople, even without a pandemic, is that they don't have the best feeling about the word because maybe you got sold to, maybe you had a bad experience, and maybe not. Maybe you love sales. You know, we have a wide variety of amazing people on here today. But I always like to start off with my definition of sales, which is service. And just because of COVID-19, that doesn't mean that it's changed what selling means. However, it may change the how you move through life now moving forward. And I believe more and more people, at least for the next year or two, are not going to want to meet in person as often as they're going to want to meet on Zoom. So we're going to talk about that today. And virtual selling changed my life. I have now worked from home full time. Both me and my husband do, even with kids and homeschooling. We're both able to make a really, really good income because of all the things that I learned and that I'm going to share with you today. So ask yourself, are you recession proof? Are you open to learning new skills? These are just the pictures of my family, the farm that I grew up on. Like you said, a good work ethic, a balanced work ethic is still important. And of course, I've won many awards since the recession. So we do believe that we're going to be heading into a 2, maybe 3-year recession globally. This is just a little snapshot of how to be recession proof or get ready and future proof yourself for a recession. If anybody does want these slides also, by the way, or the recording of this, all you have to do is WhatsApp me or send me a message on LinkedIn. I'll make sure you have my number at the end if you don't, and I'll send these to you. But it's really time to pivot. And I know Mithalesh talks a lot about mindset, so I'm not going to focus as much on that. However, I do want to focus on how I overcame my depression and a really negative mindset when I was going through that last recession. All I saw were problems, and I had to really focus on, what can I control? I can't control COVID-19. I can't control that, the schools are closed and my kids are home full time right now. I can't control that I can't, meet with people face to face. But what can I control? What can I focus on? And one of the first things I did was I developed a mindset of gratitude, an attitude of gratitude. That was the first thing. I was working with a life coach back when I was going through my journey. And I really fell in love with the boomerang law. What you send out to the universe comes back to you. And I had to start every single day with as positive of a mindset as possible. I'm going to share with you some tools that I use. I actually will show you. You won't see it very clearly, but this is my clipboard. Every coach has a clipboard, right, Mithalesh? Every athlete. I have it with me, and I start my day every day, ideally around the same time, and I write down important things, and I start my day even before I get out of bed, and I say thank you. Thank you for a new day. Thank you, I don't have COVID-19, right? Thank you, I have my health. Thank you, I have a roof over my head because I've been there where I haven't. And that was a huge shift for me, because I think when you're going through your sales career, when you're going through life, it's so easy to just take it for granted and think everything is going to be okay. And life is always happening. I had 2 unexpected deaths in my family. My brother died in February. My mom died last month. And then we have this pandemic on top of it. So developing emotional intelligence, being able to take those hits and keep on going, for me, started with developing that mindset of gratitude. So more specifically, and I already mentioned this, as a salesperson, your mindset is so critical. So critical. And how you show up is all because of here and here. You know, you have a brain in your heart, you have a brain in your gut. They're all connected with your central nervous system. So health and well-being is also, you know, a few other things, but your subconscious mind, it really controls 90% of your results comes from your subconscious. And I know Mithilesh can help you with that. But as a salesperson, how you do anything is how you do everything. It's one of my favorite quotes my mentor showed me. And so how you start your day determines how your day is going to go. So ask yourself that first 5 minutes of the day, what are you doing? Are you waking up? Are you hitting the snooze button and rolling over and going back to bed? That's a choice, right? Are you waking up? Are you meditating? Are you saying thank you? Are you turning to your phone right away? I always encourage people, if you can, make sure that you don't grab your phone and check your text messages and check your emails right away, because you never know, someone could have sent you a nasty message, a nasty gram, right? And then you look at your phone and you read that, and right away your mindset shifts, right? However, you can control that. So pour into yourself first, and then throughout the day, check in with yourself. How am I showing up? How am I, you know, showing up on a Zoom meeting? How am I showing up with my family? There's a great teacher called Louise Hay. She's really popular here in America, but she wrote many books, and she said thoughts are things, and things can be changed. You know, I always like to start the day with a clean slate. No matter what happened yesterday, if it was negative, do your best to not take it forward, even amidst right here, right now. And I know that takes a lot, especially if your sales are down, your income has been impacted, you can't meet with clients, because whatever you think is how you're going to create your day, and that impacts your sales. My next tip, and really final tip on the mindset piece of a sales champion, is besides building your belief with whether you listen to podcasts, whether you read a good book, you know, whether you have a mastermind group. I have a mastermind group that I start with early in the morning that helps get me going. The other thing that I do, that I write out on my daily compass, I call it my daily compass and guide document on my clipboard, is I write out my vision. My vision for my life, my vision for my day, of course, but my big picture vision. Like, where do I see myself in 1, 2, 3? Yes, 3. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I love that book. So writing out your vision for 2020, 2021. If we had 2 hours, I would actually have you write out your full vision right here, right now. I do that with my coaching clients, because without a vision, it's easy to just take the day off. Without a vision, it's easy to not make that extra sales call to reach your goals. And I had a vision to move back here to Southern California 3 years ago, and I recorded my vision on my phone. I listened to it every day. I wrote it down every day. I had a focus every day saying, I am so happy and grateful that I live in Southern California again. Maybe you have a vision, I'm so happy and grateful to have 10 new clients this month, or I am so happy and grateful to have X amount of dollars in my bank account. Those are the kinds of things you want to write out. Sometimes I write it twice a day, especially if I have kind of a rough day. I make sure that I write it at least once, if not twice. So this is a great time. I'm actually grateful for this pandemic, because it's helping me to get better and to really have a clear vision, and ask myself, what do I truly want? So next step, this is turning into the sales training portion. This is my process that I teach my clients. And this was one of the first things that I learned in real estate sales, and it actually helped me to rise really quickly, because if you don't have a sales process, if you don't have a sales system, and especially now with learning how to sell virtually, you are gonna not make so much money. You're gonna leave money on the table, and you're gonna feel lost. It's like without a sales process, you don't have that roadmap. This is your roadmap. And you and me as a sales professional, we go through this process every day. This is part of our time management. I'm gonna talk a little bit about time management at the end. And we start with finding leads. At the bottom, if you can see here, lead generation is on the bottom. Setting the appointment is the second step. Building trust and rapport is a part of that appointment, or maybe the phone call to schedule the appointment. Identifying the needs, sharing your benefits. Again, that starts with belief. Do you know all the benefits? Because really, we're selling the benefits of working with ourselves every day. Every day is a sales process. How you show up, again, how you do anything is how you do everything, but you got to believe in yourself, and you got to know how you help people and convey that message to the prospect. Then, of course, you have the close, you have objection handling. We're not going to talk about that today. We're not going to talk about all of these today, because again, we could be here for 5 hours. This is part of my coaching and training program that I'll share with you later. And then, of course, the fortune's always in the follow-up. I don't know anybody who closes 100% of the time on the first call. It's not possible. That could be considered manipulation, and that's why sales gets a bad name. You got to elegantly dance with that prospect. And I kind of joke, this is kind of like dating, right? If you're married or if you have a partner, you know, I met my husband through online dating. So I practiced virtual selling. Even with my husband, I closed him in 3 dates. It was great. I set the appointment. I built the trust and rapport. So it's part of that process in all areas of life. So how do you lead generate? You know, that's important. Right now that has shifted a little bit for us, right? You have to do it online. How many leads do you need a day to set appointments? I'm asking you all these questions. I know you can't answer, but just, you know, write these questions down and ask yourself these questions, because you got to know your numbers. How many people do you need to talk to online, and where are you finding them? Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it Meetup? Is it, you know, you have probably your own, besides BNI, you probably have other online networking opportunities. How many per week do you need to attend to attract enough leads to set how many appointments to get to how many sales? Once you have the lead, I have a script for you. So this is kind of step 2, really, of virtual selling. This is no different. I had to pivot in 2007. Instead of doing it face-to-face, I had to do it over the phone, because that was before Zoom. All we had back then was Skype. So I always use this script for the first call, and the second, and the third, and the fourth. Always, always, always want to listen first. You have 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? And form the relationship. Even if it's not the first time that you've talked to them, I always want to check in with these 4 things, and I'm going to spell it out here for you. So F stands for how is your family? And this is I've used this for 20 years, and you probably have your own, so you can adopt this or not. How is your occupation right now? A lot of people have lost their job here in America, so I'm really cognizant of that. Or maybe their partner, their spouse, a family member. That's important to know, because you want to know where their mindset is, because especially if you want them to spend money with you, you want to understand what's going on for them. And then recreation, what do you like to do as a recreation? Hobbies, you know, getting to know the person. They don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. You've probably heard that before. So connecting with their favorite things. I had a guy yesterday, I was talking to him. He's actually a coaching client now. He started out as a connection or a lead. And he was saying, you know what, I really miss going to the gym. I can't stand, I don't know what to do working out from home. And so I referred him to an online personal trainer. Giving without expecting anything in return. I was a resource. I helped that person. How can you help someone right now? That's a key thing. And then what is their message? What is their mission in life? That could also be a D. It's also known as a Ford acronym. Is what is their dream? What is their mission in life? Where do they want to go? Where do they see themselves? You want to ask questions before you do your sales pitch, and these are the most important questions. When it comes to virtual selling and pivoting, you know, and maybe I don't know if you had this process before COVID-19, but how many people are you going to talk to every day with this script or with a script? You know, if you don't know what to say, it's hard to guide someone to action and to have a conversation. So as salespeople, we always got to have some form of talking points like this. So how many people can you connect to on a daily basis and then get them offline? I see a lot of people that just send messages and try to sell via Messenger or text or WhatsApp. And I don't know about any of you, but I've never bought something from anybody without having some type of a relationship or a needs analysis or an understanding of who I am. There's a few things, like you might buy, you know, products online, movies, different things. There's not a relationship there. Everybody that's in sales on this call, you want to know that person. You want to have a conversation with them, voice to voice, heart to heart, face to face, over Zoom. Someone was asking about, you know, car sales and selling things like even real estate. I've had clients who've had to do 100% virtual tours, and they're still selling at a very high level because they found ways to form the relationship first and then show them the property or the car, because people will still always be buying. We just have to pivot and do it differently. Next slide. When you first meet with someone, I shared this before in the sales mountain. If you remember, you know, this is considered just one call, one experience where you get the appointment, you share your benefits, you find out their needs. And if they say, no, I'm not ready, then what? Even virtually, no different. You've got to follow up with a prospect 5 to 12 times. This is statistics that I have seen across the board. And remember, I've sold a lot of things. I've recruited a lot of salespeople and helped salespeople sell anything from a $5 item to $1 million listing in real estate. And it didn't matter. The process was still the same. Now, granted, if you have a $5 item, you probably can sell that a lot faster than $1 million house, but you still got to follow up. So I see a lot of salespeople leaving money on the table, and especially now, it's easy to lose track of how you're following up with people because there's so many leads that might be coming in, and if you don't have a system in place, especially now, it's easy to drop the ball because you're not in person with that person. You're not shaking hands. So how do you follow up? This is part of my Koffi sales formula. After that first appointment, and this is an example. People hire me to personalize this. It can be different for you. And I'm going to give you some homework, maybe even a little bit of time if you want to on this call to go ahead and kind of start your process of how are you following up with people if you don't already have a process, or if you do, how are you tweaking it for this COVID-19 virtual selling experience? For me, I love phone calls. I love building that trust and rapport, sending an email, hey, it was so nice meeting you. I look forward to our next conversation. And because I listened, step number 3, if you're reading down my list here, step number 3, I sent them something of value that mattered to them. Like if they said they're really looking forward to traveling again, I would send them an article about, you know, travel safety tips, or maybe they were specifically looking and excited about going to New Zealand or a specific country. I might send them something positive, of course, something of value that met their needs and showed that I was listening to them. By the 4th conversation, I'm hopefully in front of them again and showing them a proposal or going deeper with the relationship. And you can see so on and so forth. I give them another item of value. I have another meeting, another follow-up presentation. I'm finding a need that they have and giving them a referral. And at the very end, no matter what, this is how I've got about 10,000 people in my network, is I want to be their gal for whatever it was that I was selling. Now I'm a full-time sales trainer. When I was a realtor, I wanted to be their realtor for as long as I was a realtor. I wanted to be the person that they referred people to and nobody else. And even if they said, well, I already know a real estate agent, or I already know a performance coach, or I already know a car salesperson, or I already know a sales trainer, I'll be like, great, no problem. Can I be your second best? Can I be another person for you? Because not one realtor does everything. Not one sales trainer does everything. There's always room for more, an abundance philosophy, abundance of, got it, hold on, I just saw a question. Great question, thank you for that. Oh yeah, the movie name, my second favorite movie of all time is Shawshank Redemption. If you've never seen it, great Morgan Freeman film, and it was about a man named Andy Dufresne, played by Tim Robbins, who got wrongly imprisoned for 20 years. Talk about, that's a whole different kind of pivot, but anyway, and he broke out of jail. Great movie, very, very powerful. I actually watched it multiple times during the last Great Recession because I needed that inspiration, that hope, great message of hope. Anyway, Red, who was Morgan Freeman, he was the man in jail everyone knew as the guy who could get him things. And that's the parallel I use there, is no matter whether or not they say yes to me to hire me, I don't take it personally. I'm not offended because I know that I build relationships like nobody else. It's hard to unfriend me. That's my mindset. I want to be your sales trainer for life. I want to be a person that you can count on if you need something. And the item of value could go either way. The question was asked, you know, for item of value, is that something specific to me and what I'm selling, or is it something they need? I go intuitively either way. Sometimes both. Like, hey, you were struggling with your sales. Here's a sales article I did, or here's a YouTube video training that I did. So it can go either way. It shows that you're listening if you're not always making it about you. So that's even referring a book, even referring this movie to you, right? You know, we can connect over something that we both perhaps like. So I always encourage you to follow that. And then next slide, this is your homework, because again, I don't want to keep you here for 3 hours. Take a 10-minute exercise on your own. And again, if you want me to send you these slides, please shoot me a message, however we've been communicating. I'll do that today. but you do this over 4 to 8 weeks. I have had so much success with this, you guys. I have a saying, my friends jokingly call me, I call myself a farmer, but my friends call me a hunter and a gatherer, because I'm greedy. I want all of you as my friends. I want you all in my family. And if there's a way that I can help you, that's why I'm here, right? And I had to have a CRM. That's what it says on here. CRM is Client Relationship Manager. And I don't know what's popular in India. If you have a CRM and you want to drop it in the notes, which CRM that you use, there's no way you can keep track of everybody that you have, a conversation with. Oh, the full form of BAMFAM. Got it. It's a BAMFAM. Sorry about that. See, I have acronyms and I realized you wouldn't know them. Is book a meeting from a meeting. So I never leave a meeting without another appointment booked. I never leave a meeting without having another appointment or conversation planned. Okay, so Zoho is great. I've heard good things. I've never used it. I personally use a couple of other ones, but again, if anybody wants to recommend, that's how I keep track of all my conversations. That's how I keep track of when I'm supposed to call you again. That's how I know when I'm getting closer to those 8 touches. And why do I call it 8 by 8? Why is that so important? There was a study done here in America, gosh, probably, I don't know, 15 years ago, where they created a fictitious real estate agent, not a real person, we'll call him John Doe. And they created a direct mail campaign. I don't know if you guys do much direct mail there. It's becoming less and less here, but this was 15 years ago, so it was super popular. And they sent to one subdivision of about 200 homes, they sent a mailing piece, 1 per week for 8 weeks. It's all about having consistency over a compressed time frame. This is why it's important for you to know your conversions. How many touches does it take for you to close someone? All of those things are important. But anyway, at the end of the 8 weeks and the 8 mailing pieces week after week, they called everyone in the subdivision and said, who would you list your home with today if you sold your house today? And 80% of them said John Doe, the fake, fictitious realtor who did not exist. Didn't even have a relationship. So that does tell you, like right now, having some kind of drip campaign, whether it's email marketing, whether it's social media, whether it's LinkedIn articles. We're going to talk next about doing some kind of online skill, building an audience. And just for time's sake, I'll probably go for another 8 to 10 minutes and then we'll open up for Q&A. So what I had to do in 2007, 2008 is making me a lot of money now, is I learned how to build an audience online. I started with doing Yahoo groups. I don't know if you remember Yahoo groups back in the day, but I had my own Yahoo group. This was before Facebook was even really happening. I created a Facebook profile during that recession, but it was just more for fun, right? It wasn't what it is today. So now you guys are so lucky in this day and age. You can build a following. You can build an audience like never before. It's tricky though, because a lot of people are doing it. How are you going to make yourself unique? How are you going to set yourself apart from the competition? But don't wait. Even if you're like, man, I don't know how to set up a YouTube channel. I don't know how to do, I didn't know how to do a podcast. I had a goal. Part of my vision for 2020 was to start a podcast, but I thought I was going to do it at the 3rd quarter or 4th quarter because I didn't know what I was doing. But my coach, because I believe in coaching, I have a coach myself to keep me going forward. He was like, why wait? And I was like, oh, that's a good point. I realized I was waiting because I thought I had to know everything about how to start a podcast. And that's crap. You don't have to wait. So pick something, pick 1 or 2 things that you don't maybe already have, or if you already have, like I already had a YouTube channel And about 6 months ago, I decided, you know what, I want to build that out more. I want to beef it up. So I do 1 or 2 recordings a week. You know, this will end up in my YouTube channel. So what can you do to start building and then keeping track of all this stuff in your CRM? I realize that's redundant. I didn't need to have that on this slide, but being able to attract an audience and be consistent. Maybe you do 1 Facebook Live per week or 1 LinkedIn Live per week. Maybe you do a free webinar. I know Mithilesh has another free webinar coming up. I know some of you maybe have never done webinars before. You can ask either one of us how to create one. Do you have a blog? Even if you don't like writing, you could probably outsource it and find someone to write it for you. Affiliate programs, that's a whole nother training. Affiliate programs are great because you can make money while you sleep with affiliate programs. I have an affiliate program. So if people refer to me, I can pay them for their referrals. So there's lots, you can Google affiliate programs and find something that resonates with you or your profession. And whatever you do, the nice thing is, and I've helped people do this, and I did this myself. 13 years ago, I created a telecoaching course on time management, mindset, sales, mental, physical, spiritual, work-life balance, the whole gamut. It was 33 hours. I sold it the first time. All the recordings are still there. I turned it into a college course for 6 years, an online college course. I got paid for that. And then I still sell it to this day. So what can you create now, whether it's a video series of education about your passion, what you do, your profession? You can monetize anything online. You just got to learn how to do it, and you got to start. One of my favorite quotes is, you don't have to be great to start. However, you do have to start somewhere, right? In order to become great. I didn't run a marathon on my first training run. I had to start, and life is truly a marathon, not a sprint. So that's where the mindset of a sales champion comes in. Rome wasn't built in a day. You got to eat that elephant one bite at a time. So pick 1 or 2 of these online skills that you want to commit to for 2020, and you create it once, it's there forever, and you can make money on that forever, and I can teach you how. Last tip is probably one of my favorite things, and I learned this on the farm growing up in Iowa. You know, and I did this during the recession, 2007, 2008, and I'm still doing this now, even with kids home. I still woke up at the same time every day. Even though I was working from home, I could have slept in, right? And a lot of times people will say to me, and I help clients with this too, is like, how do you get so much done? Like, how is that possible? Well, I put structure to my day. That's where this daily compass. In fact, let me share with you my tools really quick here. This is my daily compass that I use to keep, it's my roadmap. So I put down the date. I take 15, 20 minutes free from distraction, first thing upon waking, or you can do it the night before. And that way, if you do it the night before, then your subconscious is working on your schedule. It's working for you for the next day. You might dream about it, you never know. But then what key areas, after I write my vision here at the top, you know, what is my vision for the day? What is my vision for life? And then, of course, I focus on 2 big things that I want to knock out of the park that day. It's called my big rocks. Then I also focus on, you know, my mental, physical, spiritual health. What am I going to do to fuel myself? You know, I don't coach. I'm not a personal trainer anymore. I don't I don't focus on the fitness and nutrition side of my past, but I have been in the health and fitness industry for 19 years, part-time and full-time for a while. So to me, it's very, very important how I take care of myself every day. But then blocking out my time, scheduling and writing out my day. If you've ever heard of Jim Rohn, amazing, amazing sales trainer, one of the greatest of all time, who's no longer with us on this earth, but he always said, when do you start your day? When it's finished on paper. When it's finished on paper. And then, of course, at the end of the day, ask yourself these questions. Reflecting, free from judgment. That's the mindset of a sales champion. You're always in curiosity. You're always in, you know, how did my day go? And you're not, you know, beating yourself up for not getting in all the things on your to-do list, okay? That doesn't help you, trust me. As a recovering perfectionist, I was really, really hard on myself. And then I was hard on my family. Wasn't a good thing. So those are the things, the questions, you know, what worked today? What was my favorite part of the day? I actually do that with my kids now. You can do this with yourself. You can do this with your kids. What was your favorite part of the day? What did I show up with greatness? Was I kind? What caused distraction for me today? What held me back from achieving my goals? And yes, if anybody wants that free document, again, shoot me an email. Don't message me in the chat. I might miss it. Shoot me an email or a WhatsApp. I'm almost done here, so I'll share with you. And then the last thing, too, is how do you spend your week? Do you structure your week at all? So this is just an example, and I coach all my clients on putting in their appointments, their lead generation time. It's called prospecting on here. You know, some days maybe is a full prospecting and follow-up day. Some days might be a meeting heavy day. You know, are you scheduling in time to ask for referrals from your sphere of influence? Are you scheduling admin time? Are you sitting on your computer all day and just checking email and WhatsApp and LinkedIn? You know, I checked my WhatsApp and my LinkedIn a lot more in the last couple of days because of this webinar. But normally I coach myself and my clients so they don't go crazy to have buffer blocks. That's what, if you can see the screen here, it says buffer block. That's when you check your email. That's when you set boundaries. Boundaries are critical because you want to be productive. Like I take some apps off my phone at night just so I don't get notifications, so I can spend time with my family, because I want you and myself, speaking autobiographically, I'm designing a life, not just working all the time. And that's important. So having blocks of time, and you can always tweak it. You can always tweak it to make sure what works for you. And that last picture, going back to my slides here, that last picture, oops, I was focused on the photo. We're gonna get out of there, Lois. Come on, Lois, you can do it. You can do it. There we go. All right. So the 12-Week Year by Brian Moran is my referral to you today. And that book changed my life so much. I read it about 5 years ago. And after the recession, truth be told, total transparency here, it took me 5 years to overcome my depression, really get into a rhythm and get to the healthiest, most successful version of myself. And then I took off like a rocket. And part of that was reading the book, The 12-Week Year by Brian Moran. I got more done in 6 months after reading that book than I did the previous 6 years. A lot of times we focus too much on annualized thinking, like, you know, New Year's resolutions. Don't get me started on those. Because I was in the fitness industry working at gyms for quite some time, and I saw how many people was like, yes, this is the year I'm going to do it. And then by February 1st, they were all out of the gym and on the couch eating potato chips. But anyway, so really taking a 12-week block, you know, June 1st is right around the corner, and you can crush it this summer. You know, 12 weeks of just focused. When I was coaching runners and the thousands of athletes, I helped them all achieve at a high level because of structure. We would have 12 to 16 week training plans, no different for you in your sales career. So I got certified to coach on this. So wrapping it up here just before I open up for Q&A, and I apologize if you can only join us for the next 6 minutes. I went a little bit over because, as you can tell, I'm very passionate about all of these things. And each one of these tips that I give you could really be a standalone hour, but I wanted to make sure you had my key 4 tips. This is Mary, one of my coaching clients. She has been in business and in sales for over 4 years, but she was so stagnant. Her company even had world-class training, phenomenal world-class training. Company's been around for over 50 years, I think. And she was really struggling in working from home. She was really struggling in getting sales. And she also was recruiting also for the company. And after just 30 days of working with me and all of these tools in sales and working from home and selling virtually, she had the most sales and the highest recruiting volume in 30 days than she had in the previous 4 years. Here's Kathy. She's a merchant credit card service sales manager. So she's a sales manager and also recruits, and she's required to sell herself. And I worked with her for a diligent one-on-one 12-week period. And now she's in my online virtual program to keep that fuel, to keep that maintenance going, still connected. And she started working with me in November, so before the pandemic hit. And now she and her recruits, because I helped her recruit people, are all rocking it. They're rocking it. Instead of the pandemic shutting them down, they're succeeding at a very high level. So my closing questions to you is, what action will you take? I wanted to train you from the heart to give you some inspiration and empowering tools. And what you do next is the most important thing. My hope is you didn't come here for an hour just to get excited and have a little rah-rah and, maybe one idea. My hope is that you have a mindset plan, a lead generation plan, something you can take forward, a follow-up plan, that sales mountain process. Are you going to work on that? What is your time management while you're shelter in place? And even moving forward, this is a great time to work on your time management. What is your vision? And who, of course, is holding you accountable to your goals and dreams? So I'll close out with this. Right now, I have slashed my prices for my online coaching program because when I was going through the recession, I didn't have any money. I lost it all. I had to start over. And I had mentors and coaches who came into my life and linked arms with me and said, let's keep going. If it weren't for them, I don't know where I'd be today. I don't even know if I'd be alive, to be totally honest with you. And so I'm paying it forward from those who have gone before me and who helped get me to where I'm at today, succeeding at a very high level. So just for $25 a month American, I am going to double the price back to $50 sometime in June. I don't know the date yet. But I have an amazing work from home selling virtually program online for just $25 a month, and you can cancel at any time. If someone wants more help and wants to save a boatload of money, I have a lifetime membership, literally, like as long as I'm alive, and I plan on living to 1,000, so we're good. As long as you're still in business, you and one business partner or a spouse can be in this program. You can split the cost if you wanted to. I just got to approve that other person, and you can be in that online program 2 for 1 for just one payment forever. Then I have kind of a short list. I'm going to teach you how to prospect, book appointments virtually, how to do it with excellence and positivity, how to use Zoom if you want to create webinars like this. I think it's a good idea. How to use social media. I'm not a social media marketing person. I can refer you to experts and people that I would outsource to, but I can get you started like I did on my podcast, my YouTube channel. I can give you that push, that boost, helping you publish ebooks, articles online, videos, things like that. And of course, time management is critical critical, critical, critical. Make sure you become a really focused, not a workaholic who ends up getting really, really sick. We'll have private training, private, no one can get into it, inside of a Facebook group every week, unlimited email or Facebook or WhatsApp, because I know we have a lot of people on WhatsApp. Get a free one-on-one game planning session that's valued at $250. I'm going to give you coaching on how to create countless repurposed content that's going to last forever, and you can get paid on it. A private WhatsApp group, which I know a lot of you guys use. And then, of course, additional discounts off of my coaching. If anybody's interested in that, please go ahead and shoot me a WhatsApp message. That's my number in there. And I do actually have a link that I can send you to register as well. So I'm going to stop my share. And I know we started 5 minutes late, so I went a little bit over. Does anybody have, okay. Hope you do help the corporate soft skills trainers and educators as well. I'm not sure if that's a question, but yes, I do corporate sales. I do work with sales teams. I have other products and things that I can help with that. I didn't want to, take time to go over all of that. That's okay, thank you. Does anybody have any questions? You can send them in the chat or, okay. Manmeet, let me see here. I think I'll take you off of mute. Okay, take it away.
Hey, Lois, it was an excellent session, amazing presentation. Thank you so much. My question is I'm from an industry where we deal mostly into digital content and websites and e-commerce solutions and all the stuff. So we don't have any standard, authority or some sort of thing which manages the pricing. Like, just to give an example, like there's a standard pricing in insurance, a car or a product, whatever you buy. But we don't have that. The hourly rate and the packages changes a lot. So I face a challenge every time when I speak to someone, mostly regarding the cost. Like, they start comparing that we are getting a lesser quote from someone. And sometimes it gets hard to convince why we are best, because everybody says, we are best. So this is one of the most challenging thing I face in my, day-to-day conversations with people I talk. So what do you suggest for this kind of challenge? Like how can I overcome this?
Oh, that's a great question. And I'd probably, just for sake of time, maybe we can do a one-on-one free session.
She's back.
She's back, right.
You're on mute.
Oh, well, I didn't mean to leave you. Sorry about that. My internet crashed for a second. I had to switch. So
do you want me to repeat the question?
No, you did it great. I heard all of it. And what I was saying was, I'd love to answer it now and maybe do a one-on-one free session for that, because I had that same question yesterday in my last webinar. And the idea is, I believe, if you can somehow control your pricing or have a list of options or a menu of a la carte that you share in a proposal, when you do a needs analysis and things like that, you got to find a way to streamline it. You got to find a way to streamline it some way, somehow. And I'd want to talk to you offline and do a one-on-one on that, because first of all, you do want to have your own unique selling proposition and convey that to them as why you are different. And if you follow up with excellence and you give them a proposal that meets their needs, there's no way that they can say no. But it's a process. It's not just a one simple answer for that. Does that make sense?
Yes, perfect.
Okay. Because that one, it's really about, and not every company or person has control over their pricing. So I'd want to be able to talk to you about that offline. So let's schedule a time for that. Oh yeah, Francine asked if someone's following you on Instagram, other than telling them, thank you for following me, what would be the next step? That's where you can chat with them and see if you have like a free offer. I didn't have it in this presentation today, but I always have some kind of free gift. You could have an ebook. You could have something that is of value, that whatever and I know you're in the travel arena, but I'll quickly show you an example. Oh yes, here's my WhatsApp number. And I did unfortunately lose the chat, which wasn't cool. Some of you said, someone else had a question too about, can they still get the $25 deal later today? Absolutely, absolutely, yeah. But as long as you reach out to me in the next 24 hours, I do have a link that I'll share in the chat right now. I keep saying that, but I really, really will, so that you can have access, and you could even sign up later. And if anybody has any issues with that sign up, please talk to me. But here's an example, Francine, of what I teach. And I coach a lot of coaches, actually. I coach a lot of different people. I don't have a niche, because sales is sales. But in lead generation, I always offer a free coaching session after I have built some kind of connection with them, or they followed me. If they followed me, there's got to be a reason for that. You could even ask them, hey, why did you follow me today? You know, what are you looking for? What are your goals with travel, or whatever your profession is? And then you got to have some kind of free offer or free gift, dreaming session, discovery session. You know, there's a car salesperson on here. You know, what does your dream car look like? I do a free dream car consultation, or whatever, online. Don't just spam people with stuff. I have a gal who, she sends me emails constantly. The only reason I haven't unsubscribed is because I like just maybe seeing what she's doing and understanding email marketing a little bit. It hasn't worked. I haven't bought anything. But just be careful on hitting people too hard with too much information. They're gonna tune you out. Just like living next to the railroad tracks, they'll just tune you out. That's my belief. Any other questions?
Hey, Lois, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hi. So yeah, it was an excellent session. Enjoyed a lot. My question to you is, I've been trying to sell over the phone because of the grim situation which we all are facing right now. So what you told about following up, because I know reading sales books and everything, they say the same thing. Following up is very, very important, right? So, but what I faced was that the first call, rapport building, trust building, it was great. It was good. It was going smooth. But when it actually comes to the transaction of money, or when it actually comes to making a decision from the prospect's point of view, I was not able to close them because most of the times during follow-ups, they won't pick my calls. I mean, it happened twice to thrice. I mean, it really is frustrating because on the first call, they act like, oh, they never have found anyone like you, but then they don't pick up. So is it like, does that happen every time, or is it that there's something wrong in the process, or it's like both? Can you just give a light on something like that?
That's a great question, and it really depends. If you remember in the presentation, what I talked about, that first impressions make a difference, number one, and how you listened. And, you know, if they're distracted, you know, like it happens, like my daughter just woke up and she's having breakfast right now. You never know what's going on the other side. The key is to always stay in curiosity, always do your best to that bam fam, book a meeting from a meeting and say, thank you so much for your time today, Mrs. Jones. I'd love to follow up with you with a proposal because I know I can help you. You shared the benefits. If you follow all of the steps and they don't show up or they don't return your phone call, I never take it personally. Well, okay, I used to take it personally, but now I just stay in curiosity and think, oh, I wish them well. I hope everything's okay. I don't send out any negative energy or any frustration, and I still follow up. I follow up. There's a phrase in sales. I follow up until they buy or they die. and that's kind of morbid, but I did that in real estate. I did that in all of my sales professions. I even followed up 2 years with one person. I left them voicemails for 2 years. And they called me back and they said, Lois, I had a death in the family. I got divorced. I had this, and this, but I listened to your voicemails. And because you cared and because you kept following up with me, that's why you're listing my house right now.
Oh, okay.
So I prefer to close people in 8 weeks or less, but it happens to me too. They don't pick up the phone or they don't show up for a meeting, and I just keep them in my CRM. They're either getting my emails or they're seeing my LinkedIn article posts, or you see where I'm going with this. It's a dance. Yeah. And I love on them. I wish them well. I keep a good reputation out there, and they always will come back. I think it's just really going back and really checking your process too. Is did I share the benefits appropriately? Did I listen to their needs appropriately? Did I share with them enough value to want them to not miss that appointment? Like to not miss that appointment with me because they really know that I care. And you may not have done anything wrong. Don't judge yourself. It's just always stay in curiosity and say, what could I done better? But don't give up.
Yeah. So what's your saturation point? So till when do you know that, okay, now I have to stop following up with some kind of people?
I don't really have a stopping point. I'm relentless. They call me a pit bull in a skirt. I keep going.
That's motivating. Great. Thank you.
But then again,
permission,
yeah, go ahead.
Can I say something with your permission?
Say that again. You broke up.
Hello. Can I say something with your permission?
Yes, please.
Well, Rishabh, I'm going to say it in Hindi because it will make more sense for him. Well, Rishabh, जब मैंने शुरू किया था, तो दीपेंद्र शर्मा, hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
So Dipender Sharma was the person who trained me.
Okay.
Dipender Sharma was the person who trained me. उसने मुझे एक वाक्य सिखाया था, मैं आज भी फॉलो करता हूँ. उसको तब तक मत छोड़ो जब तक वो तुम्हारे पीछे कुत्ता नहीं छोड़ता. ठीक है.
That's nice.
Awesome. I apologize, guys. I have time for one more question, and then I do unfortunately gotta.
Thank you, Mithilesh sir, for this vakya.
Welcome.
And I did post my link that shows the $25 plan and the lifetime membership. It should work. I was having some technical issues with it last night, and if it doesn't, just WhatsApp me on that number or send me an email. Or I think a lot of you communicated with me either on LinkedIn or on WhatsApp already. So I appreciate it. Anything else?
Hello.